Prince Harry stood near the massive glass window of his California home while the evening skies slowly turned orange. The world still watched him every single day, even after all these years. Cameras followed him. Social media talked about him. News channels built entire discussions around one photo, one look, one sentence. But tonight felt strangely quiet. The house was calm. The ocean breeze moved softly through the balcony curtains while Meghan sat in another room working on new lifestyle projects and charity plans. Their lives looked glamorous from the outside, but inside that giant house, there were moments when silence became louder than fame. Harry picked up his phone. Hundreds of notifications. Articles. Comments. Videos. Arguments. Some people still supported him. Some people believed he had betrayed the royal family. Others simply watched because they could never stop being curious about the life of the prince who walked away from the palace. Harry locked the phone again. He was tired. Not physically. Mentally. Years earlier, he believed freedom would finally bring peace. Instead, freedom brought another kind of pressure. A pressure where every move became content. Every smile became analysis. Every silence became controversy. Across the house, Meghan sat at a large wooden table filled with papers, notes, and sketches for future projects. She looked focused, but her expression carried exhaustion too. She had spent years trying to rebuild her public image. Some audiences loved her confidence. Others blamed her for everything. She learned long ago that no matter what she did, half the internet would attack it. Still, she continued. Because stopping meant letting the criticism win. And Meghan hated losing. She closed her laptop slowly and looked toward the hallway. Harry? No response. She walked into the living room and saw him staring outside. You okay? Harry smiled faintly. Yeah. Just thinking. About what? He laughed softly. Everything. Meghan sat beside him. For a moment neither spoke. Outside, the world imagined their lives as perfect celebrity royalty. Inside, they were two people trying to survive endless attention. That night Harry barely slept. He kept remembering old memories. Palace hallways. Royal guards. Crowds screaming his mother's name. Flashing cameras. The funeral. The pressure. The rules. Then the escape. America. Interviews. Documentaries. Business deals. Public criticism. Public support. Years passed quickly. And now, in 2026, the world still could not stop talking about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The next morning, social media exploded again. A new rumor started trending online. People claimed Harry was secretly planning a return to the United Kingdom for a major royal gathering. Some said King Charles wanted peace. Others claimed Prince William still refused to forgive him. Millions of people argued online without knowing the truth. Harry saw the headlines while drinking coffee. He sighed. Another day. Another story. Meghan looked at him carefully. Does it bother you? Harry stayed quiet for a few seconds. Sometimes. The truth was more complicated than headlines. Harry missed parts of his old life. Not the rules. Not the pressure. But the feeling of belonging somewhere. California gave him freedom. But freedom sometimes felt lonely. Especially when your entire identity was connected to a family thousands of miles away. Later that afternoon, Harry attended a charity event focused on mental health and veterans. Cameras instantly surrounded him the moment he arrived. Questions attacked him from every direction. Harry, are you returning to the UK? Harry, how is your relationship with William? Harry, do you regret leaving royal duties? He smiled politely but avoided answering. Years of media training had taught him survival. Inside the event hall, however, things changed. Harry became calmer. More natural. This was the version of him many people rarely saw. Relaxed. Human. Not a headline. Not a controversy. Just a man trying to help people. One young veteran shook Harry's hand and quietly said something that stayed in his mind all day. You know, sir, people forget you're human too. Harry paused. Then smiled. Yeah, sometimes they do. Back home, Meghan prepared for a public launch connected to her lifestyle brand. She wanted a fresh image. Warmer. More personal. Less royal. But online criticism followed her constantly. Some people mocked everything she touched. Others defended her passionately. Her team warned her not to read comments anymore. But sometimes curiosity always won. She opened one video online. Thousands of comments. Some supportive. Some brutal. One comment simply said, "They wanted privacy but became celebrities instead." Meghan stared at the screen silently. Because deep inside, she knew millions believed exactly that. The internet had created two extreme versions of them. Or villains. Nothing in between. That evening, Harry and Meghan sat outside near a small fire while the children slept upstairs. The cameras were gone. The noise disappeared. For once, they looked peaceful. "Do you ever regret it?" Meghan asked quietly. Harry looked at the flames. "Leaving?" She nodded. He thought for a long moment. "No. But I regret how everything happened." Meghan lowered her eyes. The truth was they both carried scars from the last several years. Some emotional. Some public. Some impossible to explain. The world only saw headlines. They lived the consequences. Days later, Harry received a private message from someone connected to the royal family. A possible invitation. A future conversation. Nothing official. Nothing guaranteed. But enough to make his heart race. 4 years, tension between Harry and the royal family had become one of the biggest public stories on earth. Every appearance. Every statement. Every absence. People analyzed everything. Harry walked alone through the garden after reading the message. He remembered being young. Laughing with William. Walking behind Princess Diana. Feeling protected. Then adulthood changed everything. Responsibilities. Marriage. Pressure. Public wars. And slowly, distance. The internet often treated the royal conflict like entertainment. But for Harry it was family. Messy. Painful. Personal. Inside the house, Meghan watched him through the window. She understood that no matter how far they moved, the royal family would always remain part of Harry's identity. And maybe that was the hardest part. You can leave a palace. But the palace never fully leaves you. Weeks passed. Harry became busier with charity projects while Meghan focused heavily on rebuilding her public image. Together they tried to create something new. Not royal. Not Hollywood. Something in between. But public attention never slowed down. A single photo of Harry looking serious during an event suddenly became viral. TikTok creators started making theories. YouTube channels created dramatic thumbnails. Comment sections exploded. Some claimed he looked unhappy. Others said he missed royal life. Millions watched. Millions guessed. Harry found the situation almost funny now. His face alone could generate global discussion. Meanwhile, Meghan prepared for an important public appearance in New York. Her advisors warned her carefully. Every detail matters. Every sentence will be analyzed. Stay calm. She nodded. She already knew. Being Meghan Markle meant existing under permanent observation. The event itself went smoothly. She smiled. Spoke confidently. Took photos. Shook hands. But online reactions split instantly. Supporters praised her elegance. Critics attacked her expressions. By midnight, social media had already turned one moment into another global debate. Harry watched everything quietly from home. Sometimes he wished the world would simply move on. But the world never moved on from royalty. Especially modern royalty. One rainy evening, Harry drove alone along the California coast. No cameras. No security convoy. Just silence. He stopped near the ocean and stepped outside. The waves crashed violently against the rocks while cold wind hit his face. For the first time in weeks, he felt calm. Not Prince Harry. Not the runaway royal. Not a global headline. Just Harry. A man trying to understand his own life. He thought about Diana. He often did. Especially during quiet moments. Sometimes he wondered what she would think about everything. Would she understand? Would she support him? Would she tell him to repair his relationship with family? The questions never left. Back at home, Meghan prepared dinner herself that night. Something simple. No assistants. No events. No cameras. When Harry returned, she noticed something different in his face. Calmer. Lighter. You okay? She asked. Harry nodded slowly. Yeah. I think I needed air. They ate quietly together. Not as global celebrities. Not as royal rebels. Just husband and wife. Outside their gates, photographers still waited for opportunities. Inside the house, however, life sometimes became surprisingly ordinary. Children laughing upstairs. Coffee cups left on counters. Late-night conversations. Arguments. Jokes. Exhaustion. The kind of normal life Harry once believed he could never have. Yet even ordinary moments carried extraordinary pressure. Because the world expected constant drama from them. And whenever drama disappeared, people invented more. Months later, a major royal event approached in London. Speculation exploded again. Would Harry attend? Would Meghan join him? Would William speak to him? Every news channel discussed the same questions. Inside California, the pressure returned. Harry avoided most conversations publicly. But privately, the situation weighed heavily on him. He missed his home country. He missed old friends. He even missed certain royal traditions. At the same time, he knew returning would reopen old wounds. Meghan noticed his struggle. One evening she finally asked directly, "Do you want to go?" Harry looked down. "Part of me does. And the other part?" "The other part remembers everything that happened." Meghan understood. Their lives had become complicated in ways few people could truly imagine. Fame alone was difficult. Royal fame was something else entirely. Eventually, Harry made a quiet decision. He would attend. But privately. No grand statements. No dramatic interviews. No media war. Just attendance. The news leaked anyway. Within hours, social media exploded globally. Airports prepared. Photographers gathered. British tabloids went wild. YouTube channels uploaded prediction videos every hour. The world acted as if history itself was about to happen. When Harry finally landed in London, the atmosphere felt surreal. Rain covered the streets. Fans waited behind barriers. Cameras flashed endlessly. Some people cheered. Others criticized. But almost everyone watched. Harry looked through the car window quietly as familiar buildings passed by. Memories returned instantly. Childhood. Military service. Royal ceremonies. Family laughter. Family conflict. Plus. Everything connected to this city. Inside the royal residence, tension quietly filled the air. Years had passed. But emotional distance remained. Harry walked through old hallways that once felt like home. Now they felt unfamiliar. Cold, formal, careful. People greeted him politely. But everyone sensed the history between them. Then came the moment millions secretly wanted. Harry and William finally stood face to face again. No cameras. No microphones. No public performance. Just two brothers. For a few seconds, neither spoke. Years of anger, sadness, pride, and misunderstanding filled the silence. William looked older. More serious. Harry looked tired. More guarded. Finally William spoke quietly. "You look well." Harry nodded. "So do you." The conversation stayed short. Careful. Respectful. But beneath the surface, emotions remained complicated. The public would never fully know what happened in that room. And maybe that was better. Because not every family wound belongs to the internet. Back in California, Meghan followed coverage online while protecting the children from media chaos. She understood public pressure better than most people realized. Millions judged her without ever truly knowing her. To some audiences, she became a symbol of independence. To others, she represented disruption inside the monarchy. But very few people saw the human being beneath the headlines. Late that night, Harry walked alone through London streets with security nearby at a distance. The city felt familiar yet distant. People still recognized him instantly. A prince could never fully disappear. He stopped briefly near a quiet park. Rain fell softly. For a moment he remembered being young again. Before the chaos. Before global debates. Before every personal moment became international news. He suddenly realized something important. No matter what happened next, his life would never return to the past. The old version of Prince Harry no longer existed. And maybe accepting that truth was necessary. The following day, headlines around the world exploded with fresh theories. Experts analyzed body language. Royal commentators debated family tension. TikTok creators zoomed into facial expressions. Millions watched clips repeatedly searching for hidden meaning. Harry saw some of it and laughed quietly. The internet could turn one glance into a global investigation. After returning to California, Harry seemed emotionally different. More reflective. Less angry. Meghan noticed immediately. "How was it?" she asked. Harry sat quietly for several seconds. "Complicated." Then he smiled faintly. "But maybe necessary." Life slowly continued. Projects, events, family routines, public appearances, criticism, support. The same cycle repeated. Yet something subtle had changed. Harry no longer seemed trapped between two worlds. Instead, he looked like someone finally trying to build peace with both. Not fully royal. Not fully Hollywood. Just himself. Meanwhile, Meghan focused heavily on creating stability around their family. She became more selective about public appearances. More careful. More controlled. The constant media storms had taught her difficult lessons. Some nights, she still searched online reactions secretly. Some comments hurt. Some made her angry. Some made her laugh. But over time, she slowly understood something too. The internet would never completely agree about her. And maybe chasing universal approval was impossible. One evening, Harry sat with his children in the backyard while the sunset painted the sky gold. The children laughed freely without understanding the global attention surrounding their family. Harry watched them carefully. And suddenly everything became simple. This was the reason. Not headlines. Not royal drama. Not public battles. Family. A different future. Later that night, Meghan joined him outside. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. Harry smiled softly. "That maybe we survived more than people realize." She leaned against him quietly. For years, the world had watched them like characters inside a never-ending royal movie. Some audiences loved them. Some hated them. Others simply could not look away. But behind every headline existed two real people trying to navigate impossible pressure. The prince who walked away from royalty. And the woman blamed for changing everything. Whether history judged them kindly or harshly remained uncertain. But one thing was undeniable. The world remained fascinated by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Because their story was bigger than gossip. It became a symbol of modern fame itself. Freedom versus tradition. Privacy versus celebrity. Family versus independence. Love versus public pressure. And somewhere inside all that chaos, two people kept trying to hold on to each other while the entire world watched. Months later, another viral moment appeared online. A short clip showed Harry laughing naturally during a community event. The internet reacted differently this time. People commented that he looked happier, more peaceful, less trapped. Even critics admitted something seemed different. Perhaps time had softened certain wounds. Perhaps distance had created perspective. Or perhaps Harry finally stopped trying to prove himself to everyone. As for Meghan, she continued rebuilding carefully. Step by step. Project by project. Appearance by appearance. No matter how much criticism came, she refused to disappear. And that determination alone kept people watching. Because whether audiences supported her or criticized her, Meghan Markle understood one truth better than most celebrities. Attention is power. And she knew how to survive inside it. In the end, the story of Harry and Meghan never became the fairy tale people expected. It became something messier. More human. More complicated. A story filled with mistakes, pressure, ambition, love, anger, regret, freedom, and endless public attention. And maybe that is exactly why millions of people still cannot stop watching them. Not because they are perfect, but because they are imperfect in front of the entire world. The palace lights still shine in London. The California sun still rises over their home. And somewhere between those two worlds, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle continue searching for a life that finally feels truly their own, while the cameras continue rolling, and the world continues watching.